especially if you know what you're doing. And, folks out there, that's what we're here for, to help you guys out, to help you educate and make you understand how the spiritual realm works. And honestly, if you know exactly what you are doing, and don't be afraid to ask for help, then there's so many doors of opportunity, so many things that you can do, and not even be afraid of doing it. You just get used to it.
Right, and you should know what you're doing. Learn a little bit about psychic protection if you're going to go out and do paranormal investigations, if you're going to do seances or contacting. Know your belief system, number one, because that's your roadmap, whatever it is. If you have a Christian belief system, you have a pagan belief system, you have whatever it is,
right.
That's your roadmap to work, and it will work. You just kind of know your way in, your way out. So know some psychic protection, know about spirits. And again, talk to people like us who know it, who study it, who live it.
Absolutely. And also when it goes out to the paranormal investigators as well. There's a lot of paranormal investigators like Ghost Adventures that you've been on. The guys know they've been doing it for so long. They know how to protect themselves and block themselves, and that's why they go to these most dangerous locations and do it. They don't just wake up overnight and be like, okay, I'm just going to do it, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, no, they do. They each of the guys, I'm not even going to talk about because I don't know if they do, they each have their own method of how they do protection or what they do after an investigation, that they do before. It's great because, again, they know what their truth is, and they do it.
Absolutely, and it's very important. It's very important. And, and there's other ones that are going out there and then coming back and saying, oh, I have an attachment, I got attacked. I mean, you have to, that's part of the work that we do. Things happen. But again, when it comes to protecting yourself and blocking yourself and then cleansing yourself afterwards, you can't just say, I'm a paranormal investigator, throw yourself out there in a shark world, and then turn around and be like, okay, well, now I'm a psychic medium as well. I've seen cases like that. I laughed too when I saw it. I was like, okay, overnight? That's really nice.
Yeah, people do, and I do believe everybody has some kind of psychic ability, and some people more than others. Some people, and you can develop it. But again, it's a serious thing to claim, and it's a serious thing to do, and it's a huge responsibility. If you do have this gift and you are going to do it publicly, it's a huge responsibility.
Right. Of course it is. Absolutely. Enhancing it and developing it are two different things, and that's what some people don't understand. Developing it is, as Patti said, she's absolutely correct. Everybody's born with the gift. Everybody's born, and now there's a reason why they said that there's kids up to the age of 10 that could still see and hear spirits, and then afterwards the gift goes away. No, the gift doesn't go away. They block it. They block themselves because they either don't practice it or they don't want to have anything to do with it or anything like that.
Right, or so they were told it was wrong by somebody, or it was against their belief system, or that it was their imaginary friend. No, you're making that up. No.
Yeah, there's no imaginary friend. It's only when you don't see them, but the kids do.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, if you guys want to enhance it as you're going along, and then if you want to develop it, developing is, later on in life when you decide, okay, well, I want to open my doors back up and I believe in it and I want to do that, then you start developing it and then you enhance it afterwards.
Right.
So, what kind of seances do you do? Because some people ask me, like, what are seances and what are they used for?
Okay, seances are literally, they are, where it's mediumship. But what I do in seances, it's basically contacting the dead. My seances are very Victorian style, spiritualist. Seances got really big in the turn of the last century. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, a whole movement when everybody was contacting the dead.
Right.
Presidents to everybody. It was a whole spiritualist movement. It became a belief system and a religion. I mean, there's still like Lily Dale in New York. There's whole cities of it. And I follow a lot of that style because what that is, you're around a table, which is great. You could have table knocking or doing whatever. You're in the dark or in candlelight, which is great because you can see spirits there. I do regular medium work every day. I might be sitting at my dining room table in bright of day and bright lights, and I'll be able to contact grandma or whoever, but
right.
The seance, you're literally, I work elementally, there's lots of ways you can. I work with the air and fire and water and earth as my guardians and protectors and lift the veil so that people at my seance table can actually experience more than they would normally. It's like taking the veil off, that they can see a little bit, they can feel, they can sense. And I work an open seance, and I will tell people right away, it's like everyone can have the gift right here. The veil, the door is open. I mean, it's very protected, and I'm completely only allowing in good spirits. That's what people get wrong with if they don't know what a seance is, or like how Ouija boards get a bad name and everything. It's like, you're not going to just let anybody in your front door come on in. You're really picky. Same with a seance or mediumship or working with any other kind of divination. So with the way I do a seance is a Victorian style, around a table, when I can have a table unless there's too many. I work personally because I do work elementally. I burn certain herbs and oils, and I use chimes and scents that help open the veil that way.
Right.
But people really do, and I'll say, if you keep hearing the word, whatever, Fred, 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 don't be afraid to say, I keep hearing Fred, Fred, Fred. You know, the person across from you that you may not know may have just lost someone named Fred, and you're the one getting the message. And that can happen the way I personally do seances. But again, that's just my preferred style because it's beautiful and romantic and people can experience things, but there are others as well.
Absolutely. Now, you know, people need to understand that a seance is not just one thing that you do. There's different kind of methods and different things that you could do, and it's considered a seance. Another question that I had from somebody that had emailed me, and it's funny because this was the same day that I had posted that you're going to be on my show. I started getting all these emails, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean, all kinds of questions, and a lot of them had to do because, you know, one main thing that Twitter is famous for is ghost adventures, you know, going back to that. So they're like, oh my God, Patti from Ghost Adventures is on, so let's go ahead and email her all these questions, which is awesome, and I love that. But they did ask me about the seance. I guess there's one episode when they said, well, what's the difference? Was she actually getting possessed? Do you normally get possessed during a seance, or did the spirit speak through you? Like, how does that work? Because they're confused about it, and I wanted you to tell them.
That's channeling or possession. And if you came to a seance at my house, or we're doing whatever, it is not going to be like on Ghost Adventures, because we're not in a serial killer's house.
Right.
At Ghost Adventures, we're going to the Black Dahlia house where this guy really was a torturing serial killer, or I think the last one, I think the two that I would allow possession was at the Chatsworth house, where it was that house of evil something.
Right.
And I consciously go, okay, I am willing to let that entity take over my body. I set up all my wards. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I know how to get out of it. And I've studied this a half a century, so I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I would never suggest anybody else, unless you knew what you were doing, do that.
Exactly.
That does happen. On Ghost Adventures, one of my non-Ghost Adventure stories, I was at a house actually near me here in the Hollywood Hills, and it was a very haunted house. It was owned by an old movie star, and then Rolling Stones lived there, Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, the person who invented the blow-up real-life sex doll, and most recently, Marilyn Manson. And the house was too scary for him, and he moved away. He recorded there. Mm-hmm. So, and we were filming. It wasn't Ghost Adventures. It was a documentary movie, though. But literally, French doors were flying open, over and over again. Speakers were coming on, like white noise. They weren't even plugged in. And then
that sounds kind of exciting.
yeah. But I say, believe, don't believe. Try to be open, because otherwise you can close it down and be a little bit of a skeptic. But you have to be respectful. You have to be respectful because it's real. This one kid started getting a little smart alecky, and like, ooh, that's when stuff was happening, and we were getting some very sensitive information of what had happened at this house. And then all of a sudden he says something really stupid, and we had 4 cameras there. One of my cameramen pointing right at him literally burst into flames.
What?
Yeah, like
my God.
His back burst into flames, like in a V, like angel wings of fire up his back. I shut it down really fast, and all of a sudden, cool, psychic medium, which Patti becomes medic Patti, of which I am as well. Like, drop and roll, I'm pulling in my guardians and my grid lines and shutting it down. Like, we are done. But the guy who actually got caught on fire was like, he was kind of inspired by this. And the shirt burnt off him like it was synthetic, and it was a cotton. It should not have burnt that fast.
Right.
There was some blistering there. He's like, no, Joy, you got to go on. The kid who was smart alecky got really well behaved, really well behaved, and I reopened it. We did it. I actually talked seriously to the spirit and said, "You can't do this." It was just it wasn't a demon. Mostly, it's not ever. It was just a real cranky, angry kind of theatrical spirit who had enough of this kid. So we actually ended up finishing the seance, getting really good information. The really kind of cool, magical thing that happened afterwards, even though somebody tried to throw him off the cliff, his car. Afterwards, about 3 weeks later, the cameraman showed me the small of his back, and it literally looked like he had gotten a tattoo, like kind of a of a dragon.
Oh my gosh!
The mouth open, the teeth, the little winged at the top of the head into the shape of a serpent.
Wow!
I worked dragon energy. That was great.
That's awesome.
And then boom! So it's like, wow! And he was so inspired by that. He actually wrote a film with Stephen Norrington, the guy from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series. They wrote a film about kind of a psychic, a TV thing, and then it turns into a horror film with, all these veils and stuff. But it was like wild. That's why I feel so lucky, because I do live in this world. We get to experience things that most people never get to experience.
Right.
And you have to take it seriously. You have to know what you're doing. I will never have anyone burst into flames again. But that actually turned out to be a really good thing, and he was so inspired. But yeah, I've had some wild things. But going back to the ghost adventures, so yes, I do allow spirit like that to take over my body. I'm sitting there with protection, with every kind of... The interesting thing is, on ghost adventures, I can't burn some of my herbs and oils that I would do at any other one, because of Zach's asthma, you just can't burn stuff like that. It doesn't matter, because I use the oils and do everything else, but I can't burn like I do.
Right.
But it doesn't matter, because they're so connected. They are so 100% committed, and they truly are, that it always opens up. It always opens, because they're believers. And I mean, I know for the years before I was on that show, I remember watching it going, I don't know, this is kind of weird, these big macho guys, and then a pin drops, but it's